Remember when I told y'all coming into Black History Month, there's going to be a lot of nigger trinkets that they're going to be handing around? Like, I just did a video about Stacey Abrams being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. I think they said BLM got nominated for one too, but I think theirs happened before BHM, but I'll toss them in here because it was closer to February than it was the beginning of January. Well, here's another one, and this is a huge trinket that they're throwing Black people's way. But it's not just being aimed at Black people. Look who's attached to this. So it says 170 industry leaders signed unity statement to launch a Black J-ish entertainment alliance, posted at 9 a.m. on February 1st by Rebecca Sun. Now, I'm not too familiar with the two PC people on the picture, but I definitely am familiar with the two black ones. Of course, you know the woman, that is Tiffany Haddish. And on the far end, that's Silly Porter. That goofy. I don't have to go into too much detail about that, but notice something. They have a PC man, a black woman, a PC woman, and a Academy member. They don't have a heterosexual black man in this lineup. I don't see how this is going to end well. I think it was Caressa that actually tagged me in this somewhere. I can't remember exactly where she tagged me. And I was going to leave it alone until I actually went and opened up the article somewhere else. Because I was like I had responded to it because I saw it was Instagram. You know, Instagram, they only give you so much information. I was like saying to myself, okay, what is this going to do for Black people? How are Black people going to benefit off of this? At least the ones who are attached to this. I said, I can already see the writing on the wall and see how this is going to end already. Let me get into it. To mark the first day of Black History Month, 170 leading Black and J-ish members of the entertainment industry have signed a unity statement to form the Black J-ish Entertainment Alliance. Do you know what the irony is in just that statement alone? Is that they said this is marking the first day of Black History Month, yet they had to attach the J community, or the J community attach themselves to Black people or Black entertainers to create the so-called alliance. They didn't even say Black and Africans. They said Black and J-ish, or the Black J-ish entertainment. I guess they said, well, at least in the title, it has Black first. But at the end of the day, who's pulling the strings? Who's going to really pocket the most off of this when it really boils down to it? I think we both, or everyone who's listening to me, knows the answer to that question. And I guess they just feel like we're supposed to accept this. Like we're supposed to just be like dance the Juneteenth Jubilee a few months in advance. Like we're supposed to be happy about this. Because, you know, they apparently know what's good for us, you know, and whatnot. J-ish and Black artists, musicians, and entertainers in some way share a parallel history in their respective communities. Oh, I got to see what they're talking about with this. Says Propagate Content Chairman and CEO Ben Silverman, one of the signatories, alongside Silly Porter, Sherry Lansing, Tiffany Haddish, and at least 165 more. Before he died, Larry King also signed the unity statement. After having been blocked from entering other industries, both independently turned to different aspects of show business as a refuge and outlet, and became pioneers and partners driving evolution and transformation in the creative fields. Now listen to that. They're trying to make it seem like the J-ish community is very, very oppressed on the same level of oppression that Black people are. But if you really want to boil it down, who's oppressed who? Need I say more? Added Antoine Fuqua in a statement, as two communities that have long been targeted simply for who they are, the Black and J-ish communities are stronger when we stand together. It is thus incumbent on us as members of the entertainment community to continue to be united in the face of hateful discrimination and be a positive voice for change. Now, that's the same guy who was the director of Antoine Fisher and Four Brothers and a few others. I don't know what the hell Antoine Fuqua is talking about. Now, I respect his work as a director. He's definitely an excellent creative. I think he did Training Day as well. I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, am I in the Twilight Zone right now? Like, you have actual Black people out here linking our plight to a community that is a huge contributing reason as to why we are in the plight we're in right now, and trying to make it seem like they're cohesive or they can be compared when they definitely cannot be. Especially when the J community is pulling most or damn near all the strings. Like, I can't. If y'all can see how my face looks on the other side of the screen. Black Hollywood, this is exactly why a lot of black people pull away from you. This right here might be the nail in the coffin. Silverman says the alliance came together naturally through the network of professional and personal relationships people have with one another in the industry, and was motivated in part by the desire to heal from the chaos and laments during the Trump era. The intertwined Confederate and Nazi imagery at the Capitol on January 6th put a spotlight on racial disparities, how little has changed over time, he says. Our generation that stands on tall shoulders of the past can continue to shelter in our separate igloos of privilege with our own stories echoing back to us, or we can unite. The Alliance will hold programming events designed to foster understanding and fellowship between the two communities. I'm almost scared to see how this is going to look. See, we know with J-ish, theirs is going to be looking real nice and, together and put, how it's supposed to be. How ours is going to look, that's what I'm worried about. Especially if you got people like Silly Porter up there. The coming month will see a panel about being both black and J-ish, featuring musician activist Autumn Rose, social justice artist Born Rich, and former pro basketball player David Blue. A discussion of historical black and J-ish musical collaborations led by Gene Simmons and Sharon Osbourne, and a conversation with the CEO and president of Nashville's newly opened National Museum of African American Music, H. Beecher Hicks III. Future plans includes both virtual events like clubhouse talks and pandemic permitting in-person trips such as pilgrimages to destinations that are historically and or culturally significant to each community. They said in the upcoming month. Are they talking about February? I'm guessing they're talking about February. Now, like I said, look at how they planted this. They decided to launch this in Black History Month. Despite how many people feel about the month and say, Black history should be celebrated all year round. And I do agree it should be, especially since we got shoehorned into the shortest month. Even in a leap year, we still got the shortest month. What's an extra day to 28? 29. We don't get a full 30 no matter what. But the fact that they shoehorned that into February, not into February, the fact that they shoehorned what they got going on here into Black History Month, that was done intentionally. So now you got to think that now that this has been cemented, they're going to look back on this years from now and say, on this day and in this month of Black History Month, we launched the Black J-ish Entertainment Alliance. So now, because of this, this is always from now forward, this is always going to be attached to this month. A month that should be dedicated to us and, our history. Now, would they do this with Hispanic Heritage Month? Would they have done this if, I don't know if the natives have one, would they do that with them? Would they do it in Pride Month, which is June? But they attached it to this month. Like, you got to really pay attention to what they're trying to accomplish here. It sounds good right now, but what does that small print look like? What is that looking like? This alliance will elevate voices in the entertainment community that can help the public to better understand the causes, manifestations, and effects of racism and anti-Semitism, ensuring that our industry is doing its part to be a voice for hope, unity, and healing in our country, said Warner Records co-chair and CEO Aaron Bay Shuck in a statement. Notice that all these people talking or leaving these statements are palm-colored men. You don't have not one black voice really saying anything except for what Antoine Fuqua said, but he was saying it more on their benefit. But notice he said it on their benefit more so than anything. See, like I said, this is nothing more than trying to mesh our plights together so they can say, well, there's no more this or that. There's no more racism now that we have combined and linked. But guess what? They'll still say stuff about us, but you better not dare say anything about them. And I'm telling you, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make this community out to not be as bad as they truly are underneath the surface. They're trying to hide. They're trying to cower. They're trying to mask and disguise themselves. So see, we can get along with black people. You know, all that stuff they keep saying about, you know, us doing this and us doing that. That's nothing. I mean, look at us now. That was then, this is now. They think they got us fooled. They think we stupid. The impact of the alliance is to reignite and realign the power that exists in the connection between black and J-ish communities. Well, here's the thing. Black communities as a collective don't have that much power, if they have any power at all. But we know that community has all of it, or the vast majority of it. Says Silverman, who notes that J-ish Americans were allies of the civil rights movement and that his own commitment to the cause stems from his grandfather Max Delson, an attorney who represented the first all-black union, the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, as well as Actors' Equity under its first black president, Frederick O'Neill. The purpose is to grow and build a civil rights movement for the next generation to complete the work left undone and to write a new chapter for the future. Basically, are they trying to create a NAACP 2.0? We are tired of the NAACP 1.0. We don't need it 2. We acknowledge that the black and J-ish communities have a shared history of subjugation and persecution. See, notice that almost every other statement that I'm reading has them talking about the history that black people and people in the J community have, but they're trying to combine it as if we share the same history, and we really don't. We really do not share the same history at all. There can be similarities through every group, but that doesn't mean that they're the exact same. And that's what they're trying to do. I see their end game. It's so blatantly obvious. I know what they're trying to do. We recognize that the black community in America has faced the history of racism that continues to this day, while the J-ish community is currently encountering record levels of anti-Semitism, which affects both groups' sense of fear, vulnerability, and self-worth. There you go. Let me read that again. We recognize that the black community in America has faced a history of racism. What they won't tell you is that a lot of the racism that they face have come from the J community. See, this is exactly why you have palm-colored people try to separate themselves from the J community, not realizing that both of them, well, for the most part, are PC. They'll be saying, I'm not J-ish, I'm white, or I'm Caucasian, or I'm Irish, or I'm Dutch, or I'm Danish, or whatever other PC culture out there they can be that's not attached to the J community. You got to wonder now, thinking about this and reading this, why do they do that? You got to ask yourself, why is that? See, what's going on is they're trying to hide their misdeeds, and it's a lot of them. They're trying to hide their misdeeds behind this. And I'm telling you, if any slings and arrows do come from this, they're going to make sure that the first people that's mentioned in this alliance are the first ones to take a hit on some Crispus Attucks type stuff. So that means the black people are going to get hit first, while the others are allowed to escape unscathed. And 9 times out of 10 is going to probably be because of something they did. As members of the entertainment community, we stand against all forms of hate and pledge to work to bring our two communities together in solidarity, to support one another in our struggles, and to better understand each other's plight and narratives. And I bet you that's all they're going to do. But it's not going to really benefit. I don't think it's going to be a huge monetary beneficial that's going to come black people's way in the entertainment world anyway. I would say I'll wait and see what happens, but I'm not even going to say or do that because I already know what's going to happen. I already know what's not going to happen. The J-ish community must continue to speak out against racial injustice and work to effect change, while the black community must continue to speak out against all forms of anti-Semitism. Did y'all hear that? You know what that spells out to me? Black people, stop talking about racism that affects you and start talking about the anti-Semitism that affects us, and only us and not you. While they get to speak out about the stuff that happens with us, and then watch, they'll bastardize that. And all I keep thinking about is, because Nick Cannon is a part of this as well. That's how it kind of got its legs. Remember when Nick Cannon had talked about what he said about last year, and he got into the trouble with the J-ish community, and he started apologizing and do all this weird stuff, and now this happens. So it's like we went from that and now we're here. I'm telling you, that whole thing I think that started with Nick Cannon was the catalyst that catapulted to where this is right now. At least that's what I believe. In the spirit of, here you go, Martin Luther King Jr., because you know they like to pull him out. He's their ace in the hole. Rabbi Abraham Heschel, and the many blacks and Jays who stood together in the fight for civil rights, we come together to support each other in the struggle against hatred and bigotry. In the words of the late John Lewis, they had to pull him up. We are one people, one family, the human family, and what affects one of us affects us all. I want to throw up. I want to vomit all over this. If they think that people like myself and other black people are supposed to just run out into the street and be happy about this, they got another thing coming. They really do. They must not have dealt with intelligent black people. Apparently they haven't, because they pulled a quote from John Lewis. And we know what he liked to talk about when he was alive. He always liked to talk about getting his ass beat all the time. Like, who does that? Who talks about an ass whooping? Especially one that you lost. Now, it's one thing if you talk about a beating and you're the one that did the beating. But you don't. It's some weird stuff going on, I'll tell you that. Like, it really is. But I think the thing about this whole thing is the fact that they actually did this and launched it in Black History Month and are expecting us to be satisfied with that. That's what it is. But you know what's unfortunate is you'll have some black people out there that will be satisfied with this because, like I said, the nigga trinket never, ever fails. Unfortunately. But I'm going to leave this one to y'all. I already know y'all about to flame this thing up in the comments, and I can't wait to see what y'all got to say. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you text the number pinned down below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video, and I will talk to you in the next one. Okay, so I had to come back on here and add this in because I saw somebody who I follow on Twitter was talking about this as well, and they posted a screenshot of this tweet from this PC man who I'm guessing is part of the J community himself. I'm not sure. Who said, I love this. The fact that this is the stuff nightmares for the likes of Louis Farrakhan, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and Linda Sarsour, who have been trying to sow the seeds of division between blacks and Jays, is enough for me. So this is the tweet right here posted at 9:18 on the 1st of February. Now, here, this person is right here who's basically thanking all the people. And there's Nick Cannon right there at the top. Now, you want to know what's so crazy? Just a few months ago, they had nothing but contempt for Nick Cannon, saying how he was anti this, anti that. You know, Nick Cannon went on a little apology tour and whatnot. And then now all of a sudden they like him. Man, I cannot make any of this up. But he knew to make sure to throw Farrakhan up in there because, you know, PC and PCJ, I'll put it like that, especially, they do not like. They might go dance in the street and throw a parade when they find out that man passes on.